My name is Rob McConnell, the host and the executive producer of the internationally syndicated late-night talk show, The X Zone. That's syndicated worldwide on the Talkstar Radio Network. Last week on my show, we were talking about the $459 million that the scientific community and the space agencies have spent thus far on finding water on Mars. Well, congratulations, guys. You did it. But at $459 million, what a waste of money and talent. It upset me so much that I decided to do something about it, which I usually do. I wrote a letter to Dr. Peter Smith at the University of Arizona. He is the principal investigator for the mission, and I also copied the letter to the Mars Phoenix mission at NASA's JPL lab in California. Both letters were faxed, and I'd like to read you that letter right now, and I'd appreciate your comments at xzone@talkstarradio.com. Dear Mr. Scientist, I read recently that $459 million has been spent this far on the Phoenix lander mission and that you found water on Mars. This is no surprise since early astronomers have said that there was water on Mars, but it seems to me that some humans just have nothing better to do than to look up to the planets and the stars instead of keeping their eyes on this planet and the perils that face humankind every day. Something like an ostrich putting his or her head into the sand to avoid their surroundings. You know, what they don't want to see, and hopefully what won't see them. But really, Mr. Scientist, why is water on Mars, when the minimum distance possible between these two planets, being Earth and Mars, is about 35 million miles? The maximum is over 250 miles. Why is water on Mars so important? How will this water on Mars help my fellow humans, and how do you justify to them $459 million being spent? Okay, you found water on Mars. So now what? Martian mud pies, Martian lemonade, more water for the industrialists of Earth to pollute on a distant planet? Or is it truly an exploration to discover whether or not we are alone in the universe? Have you, the people in charge of this overrated, overfinanced exploration to Mars, ever driven down the streets of the cities and towns where you live and seen those people laying beneath the highway overpasses, on city sidewalks, or in the bushes and shrubs of city parks? You know, the homeless. Have you ever driven past a soup kitchen and seen the long line of people waiting to get something to eat? Have you ever seen the lines at shelters of people waiting to have a safe place to sleep for a night? Have you ever been to a school and talked to a child who has had nothing to eat for breakfast and whose parents do not have enough money to clothe them properly? Have you ever seen the lineup at a free medical clinic where people who cannot afford medical care go to try and get help? Have you ever visited the poor side of town, Mr. Scientist, you know, the other side of the tracks, and seen what the housing your fellow mankind are living in? Have you ever heard of the people around the world who are dying of thirst and disease because they do not have any water? Have you heard about the crisis that fossil fuel industry has put this planet's economic system in? Not to mention global warming. Mr. Scientist, if you can put a lander that found water on Mars, why can't you find alternative fuel and engines that would not pollute an already overpolluted planet? Why? It makes no sense to me. You know what? I doubt if you have. How can you sleep at night knowing that you spent $459 million on a barren planet instead of a planet that is teeming with life? No matter where you look on this planet, Mr. Scientist, there are the hungry, the homeless, the sick, the dying, those who need jobs, and those who need a better education. And the list goes on and on and on. In my humble opinion, $459 million would have been better spent on a race that you have already forgotten about, Homo sapiens, or modern humans, which are indigenous to the third planet from the sun in our very own solar system, a planet called Earth. A planet where there is water, air, and does sustain life, but certainly can use the money and the scientific brains to help its occupants to help each other, today and for the future of humanity. So tell me, Mr. Scientist, how will your discovery that there is water on Mars help my fellow humans? Your fellow Homo sapien and resident of the planet Earth, Rob McConnell.